You never see the trap until it closes. That is the genius of it. If someone attacks you directly, if they scream, if they threaten, if they make their hostility obvious, you are already winning. Because visibility gives you options. You can defend yourself, you can retreat, you can prepare. But the people who will destroy you, the ones who will strip you of your power, your wealth, your sanity, and leave you wondering how you became so weak. They do not announce themselves. They do not wear villain costumes. They wear the mask of friendship. They wear the mask of loyalty. They wear the mask of love. And you, if you are not trained to see beneath the surface, you will hand them the knife and guide it to your own throat. Niccolo Machiavelli spent his life studying power, not the fairy tale version where good defeats evil, the real version, the version where the man who smiles widest often has the sharpest blade. He understood that human beings are not born equal in their intentions. Some people operate with a conscience. Others operate with a costume. And if you cannot tell the difference, you are not a good person. You are simply prey in a world of predators who have learned to speak your language. Today I am going to show you 3 personality types that Machiavelli would have recognized immediately. These are not the loud villains. These are not the obvious enemies. These are the people who sit at your dinner table, the people who share your bed, the people you promote, the people you confide in. I am going to teach you how to see the invisible. I am going to teach you how to recognize the architecture of deception before it collapses on your head. And I need you to understand something before we begin. Once you learn to see these patterns, you cannot unsee them. You will look at your closest relationships and you will feel a chill. That chill is not paranoia. That is your instinct waking up after years of being told to sleep. Before we dissect the 3 types, we need to establish the battlefield. We live in a culture that worships transparency. Be yourself, be vulnerable, share your truth. This is catastrophic advice if you do not understand who you are sharing with. Machiavelli knew that the world is a stage. The most successful people in history were not the most honest. They were the best actors. They understood that what people see is more important than what is real. Appearance is power. And the 3 types I am about to reveal to you have mastered appearance to a degree that would make Machiavelli himself take notes. You miss the red flags not because you are stupid. You miss them because you are wired for trust. Your brain wants to believe that people are fundamentally good. It wants to believe that everyone operates with the same moral framework you do. This is a beautiful quality. It is also a fatal vulnerability. Because while you are assuming good intentions, they are calculating. While you are giving the benefit of the doubt, they are taking inventory of your weaknesses. And by the time you realize what is happening, you are already in debt. Emotionally, financially, psychologically. The trap was set long before you felt the first sting. The 3 types I am about to show you depend on your hesitation. They depend on your politeness. They depend on your unwillingness to believe that someone you trust could be engineering your downfall. Let me take that hesitation away. Let me give you the eyes to see. The first type is the most insidious because they operate under the cover of morality. I call this type the virtuous assassin. In the corporate world, they are the person who always asks how you are doing. In your family, they are the one everyone calls the glue. In your social circle, they are the peacemaker. On the surface, they are beyond reproach. Underneath, they are systematically dismantling you. And the beauty of their method is that if you ever accuse them, you look insane. Machiavelli warned that the most dangerous enemies are those who appear to serve you. The virtuous assassin does not attack you with anger. They attack you with concern. They do not criticize you. They worry about you. This is a weapon that leaves no fingerprints. Let me show you how it works. Imagine you are competing for a leadership position. You are qualified. You are respected. You are the obvious choice. The virtuous assassin does not go to your superiors and say he is incompetent. That would reveal their jealousy. Instead, they go to the decision maker, close the door, lower their voice, and say something like this: "I really hope he gets the role. I just worry about whether he is ready. You know how much pressure he has been under. I would hate to see him crack under the weight of it. I am just thinking about his well-being." Do you see the elegance? On the surface, it is empathy. It is support. But the subtext is poison. They have planted doubt about your stability. They have reframed your competence as fragility. And if you do not get the position, the virtuous assassin will come to you, put a hand on your shoulder, and say, "I fought for you. I am so sorry," and they will mean it, because they believe their own performance. This type uses a tactic called triangulation. They never have a problem with you directly. Other people do. I do not mind that you are ambitious, but some people on the team think you are arrogant. I love how independent you are, but your family is worried you are becoming distant. They create a phantom jury. They make you feel like you are being judged by an invisible audience. And who is the only person offering you a lifeline? The virtuous assassin, the person who is supposedly on your side. You become dependent on them for information. You become dependent on them for reassurance. And that dependence is the collar around your neck. How do you identify this type before they have you on your knees? Watch how they deliver bad news. A normal person feels discomfort when they hurt someone. Their body language shows tension. They want to get it over with. The virtuous assassin lingers. There is a micro-expression you need to watch for. It is called duping delight. It is a fleeting smile, barely visible, that flashes across their face when they tell you something painful, when they tell you that people are talking about you, when they tell you that you failed, when they tell you that someone you trusted has betrayed you. In that moment, watch their mouth, watch their eyes. There is a flicker of satisfaction. It is brief. It is subtle. But it is there. They do not want to destroy you completely. That would remove their source of power. They want to keep you wounded but functional. They want you to need them. A broken bird that cannot fly away. If someone in your life constantly offers help that leaves you feeling smaller, if their advice always makes you question yourself, if their support somehow always results in you losing ground, you are not being helped. You are being managed, and management is just a polite word for control. The second type is louder, more chaotic, easier to spot if you know what you are looking for. But most people do not spot them. Most people get caught in the whirlwind and mistake the chaos for passion. I call this type the chaos architect. You know this person. When they walk into a room, the air changes. There is always a crisis, a betrayal, a health scare, a financial disaster, an enemy who wronged them. Every week is a new episode of a drama series where they are the star and you are the supporting cast whose job is to react. Here's what most people do not understand. The chaos architect does not suffer from chaos. They create it. They need it. Because chaos is a smokescreen. In chaos, logic dies. In chaos, the person with the loudest emotion wins. And if you are a calm, rational person, you are the perfect victim. You are the stabilizer. You are the one who will try to fix it. You are the battery they drain. Machiavelli understood that some rulers create crises to justify their control. The chaos architect does the same thing in relationships. They manufacture instability so that you are always in reaction mode. You are always defending, always explaining, always trying to make sense of something that was never meant to make sense. Let me give you an example of how this plays out. You confront them about something real, something concrete. They spent money that was not theirs. They lied about where they were. They broke a promise. You come to them with a reasonable question, a calm tone. You are trying to have an adult conversation, and within 60 seconds, you are in a completely different argument. They have pivoted. They have brought up something you did 3 years ago. They have accused you of something absurd. They have started crying or shouting or threatening to leave. And suddenly, you are not talking about what they did. You are defending yourself against a hurricane of accusations that have nothing to do with the original issue. This is not an accident. This is strategy. Psychologists call it word salad. It is a deliberate tactic to overwhelm your logic, to short-circuit your ability to think clearly. And while you are scrambling to defend yourself, while you are exhausted and confused, they are feeding. They are energized, because the argument is not about the topic. The argument is the point. The chaos is the point. It makes them feel alive, and it makes you feel crazy. The chaos architect will tell you early on that they hate drama. Write this down. Anyone who feels the need to tell you they hate drama is the source of it. They will tell you that all their exes were crazy. If one ex was unstable, that is unfortunate. If every X was unstable, you were looking at the common denominator. They will test you early with small violations. Showing up late, forgetting something important, making a scene in public, these are not accidents. These are calibrations. They are checking to see how much chaos you will tolerate. If you stay, if you make excuses, if you rationalize their behavior, you have signed a contract. You have accepted the role of stabilizer. And here is the truth that will hurt. You cannot stabilize them. You are pouring water into a hole in the ground. The more you give, the more it disappears. And when you are empty, when you have nothing left, they will move on. They will find someone else with a full tank. And they will tell that person that you were the crazy one. How do you spot the chaos architect before they drain you? Look at their history. Do they have long-term friendships? Do they have relationships that survived conflict? Or is their life a series of burned bridges and fresh starts? Look at how they talk about other people. Is everyone in their past a villain? Are they always the victim? If the world is full of people who wronged them, the world is not the problem. Look at how they respond to peace. When things are calm, do they relax, or do they create a problem? If you notice that every time things are going well, they pick a fight or create a crisis, you are dealing with someone who is allergic to stability. They need the adrenaline, they need the chaos, and they will sacrifice your peace to get it. Now we come to the third type. This is the rarest. This is the most dangerous. The first two types are driven by human needs, the need for control, the need for attention. But the third type is different. They do not need anything from you in the way you understand need. They are empty. And because they are empty, they can become anything. They can become whoever you need them to be, until you are trapped, until it is too late. This is the type that Machiavelli would have studied with cold fascination. This is the type that breaks people who thought they were unbreakable. I call this type the hollow one. The hollow one has no fixed identity. They are a mirror. When you first meet them, it feels like fate. It feels like magic. You mention that you love a certain type of music. They love it too. You talk about your childhood wounds. They had the exact same experience. You share your dreams. They have been dreaming the same thing. It feels like you have found your other half. You have not. You have found a predator who has learned to mimic human connection. In the beginning, they study you. They are downloading your personality. They are learning what you value, what you fear, what you were denied in your past, and then they become the solution. If you were neglected, they smother you with attention. If you were controlled, they offer you freedom. If you felt unseen, they make you feel like the center of the universe. This is not love. This is a strategy. And it works because you are human. You are wired to bond with people who make you feel understood. Machiavelli said that men are so simple and so ready to obey present necessities that he who deceives will always find someone ready to be deceived. The hollow one understands this. They know that people are desperate to be seen, desperate to be valued, desperate to feel special. And they use that desperation like a fisherman uses bait. Once they have hooked you, once you are emotionally dependent on the validation they provide, the mask begins to shift. Not all at once. That would be too obvious, but slowly. The texts that used to come instantly now come hours later. The praise that used to be constant now comes with conditions. I love how driven you are, but do you think you are being realistic? The attention that used to be overwhelming now gets pulled away. And you panic. You think you did something wrong. You try harder. You chase the feeling you had in the beginning. And this is where the feeding begins. The hollow one feeds on control. They enjoy watching you twist yourself into shapes trying to please them. It confirms what they already believe, that people are toys, that emotions are levers, that you are an object to be played with. Psychologists who study this type describe a complete absence of conscience. Imagine that for a moment. No guilt, no remorse, no anxiety about hurting others. Imagine what you could do if you felt nothing when someone cried in front of you. You could destroy someone and then go have lunch. You could ruin a life and sleep perfectly that night. The hollow one operates in this state. They are not burdened by empathy. They are not slowed down by guilt. And that makes them faster, sharper, and infinitely more dangerous than you. How do you identify the hollow one before they consume you? Look for the perfect match. Human beings are messy. We disagree. We have friction. If someone agrees with everything you say, if they mirror every interest, if the connection feels too easy, be afraid. Real connection has texture. It has disagreement. It has difference. A perfect match is not a soulmate. It is a performance. Look at the eyes. This will sound abstract, but it is biological. When a real smile happens, the muscles around the eyes contract. The eyes crinkle. The hollow one often smiles only with their mouth. The eyes stay flat, cold. They are watching your reaction to their smile. They are studying whether it worked. Look at their past. Do they have long-term friends? Or do they have a series of lives that do not connect? I used to live in this city. Then I moved here. Then I did this. Then I reinvented myself there. Maybe they are adventurous. Or maybe they burned every bridge and had to start over. The hollow one leaves a trail of destruction, but they never look back, because the people they destroyed are not people to them. They are chapters in a book they have already closed. Now you see them. The virtuous assassin, the chaos architect, the hollow one. You might be feeling something cold in your chest right now. You might be seeing a face, a name, a memory. That tightness you feel is your instinct, trying to break through years of social conditioning. You have been taught to be kind, to give people the benefit of the doubt, to believe the best in others. These are beautiful values, but they are not survival skills. Kindness without discernment is not virtue. It is vulnerability. You are probably wondering what to do now, how to fight back, how to expose them, how to make them pay for what they have done. Stop. This is your ego talking, and your ego is going to get you killed. You cannot beat these types at their own game. You cannot out-manipulate a manipulator. You cannot win an argument with someone who does not care about truth. Machiavelli taught that you should never fight in a way that benefits your enemy. And these types thrive on conflict. They thrive on your anger. They thrive on your need to be right. Every time you engage, you feed them. So what do? You become boring. There is a method that survivors of these personality types use. It is called the gray rock method. You become emotionally uninteresting. You become a gray rock on the side of the road, not worth noticing, not worth engaging. When the virtuous assassin tries to plant doubt, you do not defend yourself. You do not react. You say okay and you move on. When the chaos architect creates a crisis, you do not engage. You say that sounds difficult, and you leave the room. When the hollow one tries to provoke you, you give them nothing. Flat tone, no eye contact, no emotion. You are starving them. These types feed on reaction. They feed on emotion. It does not matter if the emotion is love or hate. It is all food to them. When you stop reacting, when you stop providing supply, you become useless to them. And a predator does not waste energy on prey that provides no reward. They will test you. They will escalate. They will try harder to get a reaction. Hold the line. Eventually, they will move on to someone easier. The second thing you do is cut off information. Every piece of information you give them is a weapon they will use later. The virtuous assassin will use your insecurities to undermine you. The chaos architect will use your fears to destabilize you. The hollow one will use your desires to control you. From this moment forward, you are a vault. Machiavelli said that everyone sees what you appear to be, but few experience what you really are. Stop telling them your plans. Stop sharing your struggles. Stop giving them access to your inner world. Be vague. Be boring. Be a locked door. And if the situation is dangerous, if you need to leave, understand that leaving is the most dangerous moment. When a predator realizes they are losing control, they escalate. Psychologists call this an extinction burst. It is the final, desperate attempt to regain power. They will threaten, they will cry, they will make promises. They will launch attacks on your reputation. You need to be prepared for this. You need to cut contact completely. No final conversation. No closure coffee. No staying friends. Closure is a fantasy. It does not exist with these types. Block the number. Block the email. Block the mutual friends who will try to relay messages. You must become a ghost. It will feel cruel. You will feel guilt. That guilt is a program they installed. Removing a parasite is not cruelty. It is survival. Now I want to ask you a question, and I want you to sit with it. Why do these people exist? And more importantly, why did you let them in? This is the part that most people do not want to hear. These types are not random, they are heat-seeking missiles. They find the cracks in your armor. If the Hollow One was able to hook you by pretending to be your perfect match, it is because you were looking for someone to complete you. If the Chaos Architect was able to drain you, it is because part of you was drawn to the intensity. If the Virtuous Assassin was able to undermine you, it is because you needed external validation. I am not saying you deserved it. I am saying that these people are mirrors in a different way. They show you where you are vulnerable. They show you where you have not built boundaries. They show you where you are still looking outside yourself for worth. And if you survive them, if you learn the lesson, you become something different. You become awake. You stop trusting by default. You stop assuming everyone has a conscience. You stop looking for someone to save you. You become your own fortress. Machiavelli believed that fortune favors the prepared, that the world is not kind to the naive, that power belongs to those who understand the game. You have just learned 3 of the most dangerous players. You now have a choice. You can go back to sleep. You can tell yourself that this does not apply to you, that your people are different. Or you can stay awake. You can watch. You can learn to see the performance before it traps you. The world is not a nursery. It is not a safe space. It is a landscape of competing interests. Most people are decent, but the ones who are not, they are the ones who shape your life. They are the ones who determine whether you rise or fall. And if you cannot see them, you are already falling. There is an old proverb, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me." But there is a third line that no one mentions. "Fool me 3 times and I was never paying attention." You are paying attention now. The question is, what are you going to do with it? I want to leave you with one last thought. We have spent the last half hour analyzing them. The manipulators, the predators, the others. It feels good to point the finger outward. It feels safe. But Machiavelli also warned that the line between the prince and the tyrant is thin. That anyone, given the right circumstances, the right pressure, the right justification, is capable of becoming what they fear. So let me ask you this. Which of these 3 types are you capable of becoming? Have you ever used concern to undermine someone? Have you ever created chaos to avoid accountability? Have you ever mirrored someone to get what you wanted? The most dangerous lie is not the one someone tells you. It is the one you tell yourself. If you made it this far, you are not like most people. Most people will watch 3 minutes and leave. You stayed. That tells me you are serious. That tells me you understand that knowledge is the only real power. But understand this. There are things I cannot say here. There are layers of strategy, manipulation, and psychological warfare that I cannot discuss publicly without being flagged, suppressed, or removed. The algorithm does not reward truth. It rewards comfort. And what I teach is not comfortable. If you want access to the strategies I cannot share here, if you want the unfiltered lessons on how to think like Machiavelli in the modern world, you need to go deeper. That content exists behind the membership. It exists for the people who are ready to stop being victims and start being players. Most will not join. That is the point. The ones who do are the ones who understand that power is not given. It is taken by those who know how to see. Subscribe if you have not already. But if you are ready to go further, click Join. Step into the inner circle, learn what I cannot teach in public. Most will not. And that is why most will stay exactly where they are.